my Halloween shirt again. This is because this is going to be an anti-Valentine's Day reaction series. Okay, we are going to be watching about the assassination of JFK, which personally, I no longer care what the answer is. Because that's just like a whole conspiracy of bullshit, and this is 31 minutes long, and I plan on showering before my bedtime, so let's just get on with it. The subtitles are too small. Since this is going to be a long one, I'm going to quickly grab my knitting. Actually, the third shot is actually accidentally caused by one of the security guards or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, I don't think he would knew that the guy was dead. Yeah, I go like, ah! Bitch. Well, that's fucking retarded. They did. They didn't give him extra surveillance. Well, that was shit brain. Oh, there's the umbrella person.
first thing, or one of the first things I would do.
Communication is important in all fields, right?
Do you think I'm being too harsh?
No, I don't think so.
In thinking that
Yeah, I think
these were
communication is
obvious
pretty
steps
important
that should have been
because
taken.
Miles and I
if
got into an
you were
argument
in one of those
over
departments,
McDonald's.
Jack Kennedy would probably still be alive today.
Wow, that's high praise. So you think I could have saved the president?
You know what? I'll give you it. I think he could have saved him.
Here are direct quotes from the Warren Commission in regards to evidence proving Oswald was the shooter. Quote, the Mannlicher Carcano 6.5mm Italian rifle, from which the shots were fired, was owned by and in the possession of Oswald. End quote. This was determined due to the fact that there was a nearly whole bullet recovered from Governor Connolly's stretcher, and 2 bullet fragments in the car that matched that rifle. Quote, to the exclusion of all other weapons. End quote. The rifle was found hidden near the 6th floor window, as well as 3 bullet cartridges matching the 3 shots heard. Continuing with the commission's evidence, quote, Oswald had attempted to kill Major General Edwin A. Walker on April 10, 1963, thereby demonstrating his disposition to take human life. End quote. Well, this isn't his first big hit job. No. The first one he missed. Imagine he trained like a madman. He wouldn't miss again.
He's got to be good though, right?
I mean, he hit 2 for 3.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Oswald unquestionably also killed Dallas policeman J.D. Tippit with a revolver approximately 45 minutes after the assassination. This is backed up by eyewitness testimony, and also due to the cartridge cases found at the scene belonging to a revolver on Oswald at the time of his arrest, among other things as well. So he also killed somebody right after the assassination.
At that point, though,
I mean, you killed the president. Everything else is below that.
Yeah. It's like when you eat a big meal and then have a little snack afterward.
Yeah, like if you go eat Chipotle for lunch, might as well have a muffin after.
Might as well have a muffin.
Right? You're already doing damage to your body. Might as well finish the job.
Isn't
You think
Chipotle
he
like
uttered the phrase,
homophobic?
might as well.
Because I know Chick-fil-A is.
With all that in mind, it seems pretty clear that Oswald was the shooter. However, many have wondered if Oswald acted alone. Unfortunately, due to the fact that Oswald was killed by Jack Ruby, we may never know for sure.
Way to go,
And while it
Jack.
should be noted that the Warren Commission found no evidence that Ruby or Oswald were part of a conspiracy to kill the president, it's natural to wonder if Ruby may have killed Oswald to keep him quiet. The Warren Commission also found, quote, no evidence that Oswald was involved with any person or group in a conspiracy to assassinate the president.
Yeah, I personally think that Oswald just did it on his own.
The Warren Commission was firm in their belief that Oswald was the sole shooter. To
That's what I believe as well.
Let's take a closer look at the scene of the crime, and more specifically, the bullets fired. The Warren Commission believes that there were only 3 bullets fired, with these 3 subsequent results. The first bullet missed. The second bullet hit JFK in the neck and also hit Governor Connolly. And the third bullet was the fatal headshot. The second bullet in particular is the most controversial in that the Warren Commission posits it hit both JFK and Connolly. This idea is referred to as the magic bullet theory. The commission theorizes that from the 6th floor window, the bullet entered through the back of JFK's neck, exiting downward, then entered through Connolly's right side of his back, exited below his right nipple, then entered and exited through Connolly's right wrist, and finally ended in Connolly's left thigh. They even concluded that the nearly full bullet found in Connolly's stretcher was this second bullet. However, this magic bullet, as it's often referred to online, has been met with a fair share of skepticism. The main point of contention is that many believe the trajectory from the 6th floor window is impossible. Yet, the clear renderings of the event have shown that it is indeed possible when considering that Governor Connolly was sitting on a lower seat than Kennedy, and also
yeah, maybe that's what fucking happened.
That being said, I do find it hard to believe that the so-called magic bullet merely attacked after traveling too far the first one. As a process, always felt like
Yeah, it's completely unrelated. I don't think there was. Mostly because I'm sick and tired of this goddamn conspiracy theory. It's like the fucking Kim Kardashians. It's like the freaking Kardashians of conspiracy theories. If you're gonna give me a conspiracy theory, give me something that ain't so fucking mainstream.
2. That one bullet caused the president's first wound,
Like,
and that
I
an
don't
entirely
know.
separate shot struck me.
Maybe a conspiracy theory
As stated
about how
before, if
octopuses
this is
are
true,
secretly
then it
aliens
had to be
trying to
two
invade
shooters.
Earth.
Let's also look at the testimony of James T.
I mean,
Tate,
I don't believe in
a
that, but
spectator along the motorcade.
octopuses are fucking
Claims that a stray
freaky.
bullet hit the sidewalk
I'm
near
afraid
him,
of them.
and a fragment of that bullet struck him in the cheek. There was, in fact, a mark on the sidewalk that, according to the Warren Commission report, quote,
Is that mark
could have
still
originated
there
from the
to
lead
this
core of a
day?
bullet, end quote. This potential stray bullet is noteworthy because Tate claims this stray bullet was actually the second shot and not the first shot, which is particularly damning to the magic bullet theory, which posits that the magic bullet was the second shot and the missed bullet was the first. So either Tate misinterpreted the situation or there were more than 3 bullets fired. And if you recall, there was only 3 cartridges found by Oswald's window in the Texas School Book Depository, so that would suggest more than one shooter. Furthermore, in the 1970s, a new acoustic research technique was used to analyze the audio of the shooting, which found 6 points in the audio that could contain echo patterns similar to those of gunfire. This further suggests that there may have been more than one shooter. There's even supposedly footage of the JFK assassination from an angle different than the Zapruder film. This alternate footage reportedly shows a now infamous grassy knoll in the background. People who have seen the footage claim to see anything from puffs of gun smoke or a second shooter located on the grassy knoll.
Footage wasn't actually fucked up.
This footage has supposedly gone missing.
Yeah, maybe it got damaged by outside forces.
It seems like a lot of work.
Just random, someone stored it improperly.
But it's like, I don't know, it's not going to bring him back to life. It's not going to put his head back together.
Well, wouldn't you like to know what happened? Do you really want to go on the rest of your life thinking it was the sole actions of a madman and not a larger part of a conspiracy or a bigger thing?
I'm content with
Yeah.
that, I guess. You know, here's the thing.
I am with
If it was a
Shane on
conspiracy,
this.
if it was a secretive group operating, they did a great job. I commend them.
I mean, I personally don't give a fuck
Hey, you fooled
because
us.
it's been
Let's move on, you know?
almost 60
Cynthia Nix
years.
Jackson, the granddaughter of the person who took the film, sued the U.S. government for $10 million in 2015 for the return of the film. Apparently, this film has not been seen since the House Select Committee on Assassinations in 1978. This committee, by the way, was formed in 1976 to conduct an investigation into the assassinations of JFK and Martin Luther King Jr. Why it was formed is of particular interest. The House Select Committee on Assassinations was formed after a Senate committee confirmed that the CIA had purposefully withheld information from the Warren Commission investigation. The information withheld involved plots to assassinate Fidel Castro. The House Select Committee on Assassinations.
Now the Castro thing, the Castro assassinations, they were goddamn Looney Tunes plans. They had a freaking exploding cigar planned. Yeah, one man conspiracy.
Turning in your brain now going, what else are they withholding?
I used to have a super hyper fixation on conspiracy theories. I have thankfully outgrown that. I used to be a Ryan on a subject, now I'm a Shane on a subject. Yeah, that's every single fucking president ever. Ugh.
asked the president to continue doing part of his old job as Texas senator, which basically meant LBJ was bored and emasculated by the showy office of vice president, as opposed to the actual power he held in the majority leader of the Senate. There were also rumors that LBJ might be dropped from the election team the following year. LBJ and JFK also apparently had plots that did the assassination. LBJ also played a big part in Kennedy going to Dallas in the first place. LBJ no longer had political control of Texas.
Well, Texas is currently a shitstorm right now. I'm gonna sneeze really loudly. I can feel the damn sneeze. It fucking disappeared. And he was like the only Catholic president we've had, I think. Or the first Catholic. Okay, that pants walk around with the pants off thing reminds me of a short that I saw in high school. I'm gonna pause for a second. Okay, so that reminds me of a short that I saw in my film classes in high school. And it was done by by my film teacher's previous students about the Cuban Missile Crisis. And it's like a very intense phone convo between JFK and whoever the fuck was in charge of Russia at the time. And at the end, JFK stood up and he wasn't wearing pants, he was in his boxers. It was kind of hilarious. It was pretty hilarious. That is what he was called. Yep.
On the Texas trip the night before the assassination, where his movements were heavily documented. Therefore, it's not possible that this exchange with Caroline Brown happened. Furthermore, while there is evidence that LBJ wasn't happy as SVP, there's nothing to support the theory that he had JFK assassinated, even helped with the Warren Commission. Okay, Jason, what you just said something about that. That's an example of problem. This is just
Yeah, JFK looks like a jock. Our current vice president at the time of this filming is a doctor. And the first female vice president was a doctor. And yeah, I don't give a fuck about the presidencies. I think Al Gore was the vice president, and he was on The Simpsons and also on Futurama, I think. They can get her to be pointed at us. It's a stupid choice. That sounds like Russian and Italian. I suck at accents. The Miami Mob seems like they'd all be on bath salts. Because, they're in Florida. That is a mustache. They shared a mistress. Like a car. She may be revving up their engines, but she ain't no car.
Just claim.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're going to claim something, maybe claim you killed some dude carrying groceries down the alleyway. Don't just claim I killed JFK.
Right.
I feel like nothing good could come of that.
Everyone just kind of rolls their eyes at him.
How can I make my prison sentence a life sentence?
I killed God.
Speaking of the CIA, let's move to our fourth and final theory, that the CIA was ultimately behind the assassination of JFK. Ellen Dulles, the former head of the CIA,
This I don't give a
was
fuck
actually
about.
on the Warren Commission. And as mentioned before, the CIA withheld information from that commission. The CIA now refers to this as a, quote, benign cover-up, end quote. There are plenty of wild theories out there for possible motives for the CIA assassinating Kennedy. Some feel that JFK may have found out that the CIA had a plot to assassinate Fidel Castro, and the CIA felt threatened that Kennedy might have a different agenda or even disband them, so they plotted to assassinate him. Yeah, possible. I'm not going to say this one's out of the realm of possibility.
There are a bunch of attempts on Castro's life, right?
Oh yeah,
Exploding cigar.
there was also the Bay of
Yeah.
Pigs invasion.
Yeah, not great.
It was we all know how that went. Forensic historian Patrick Nolan wrote a book entitled CIA Rogues and the Killing of the Kennedys, in which he
My grandpa wasn't
theorizes
named
that
at the
four high-level
time of the Bay of
agents
Pigs,
not
but I
only
don't know if
planned
he
the shooting,
partook in it or
but
not.
3 of them fired 4 shots during the assassination. People also feel that the CIA could have picked Oswald to carry out the hit, as he was a known communist and Russian sympathizer. Another possible CIA motive was that after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion into Cuba, the CIA underwent personnel changes at the hand of Kennedy, which may have upset them. Blaming something on the CIA is essentially pointing a finger at a shadow. There's nothing we know about them, and there's nothing we ever will know about them.
I mean, I know that they have man's
I think
fingerprints
maybe
because
that's
she used to
why I'm
work
so
for them,
comfortable
and
with
that my aunt
just
almost
never knowing
on that
on
the
this,
CIA,
and
so
hanging it up, because there's just
Yeah.
unknowables.
Okay, I have another funny story to tell. When I got first enrolled into like the new school where I live when I was in the 3rd grade, my aunt wanted to go with me because the whole autism thing, and I was just like over the summer I was like taken away from my parents because they were being toxic as hell. So my aunt, she wanted to go to school with me, and she had to go to Lompoc to get her fingerprints to make sure she wasn't on the bad person registry. And they could not find her fingerprints because my aunt, she was like doing a lot of housework and cleaning a lot of dishes and stuff. And she was, because like some other family members, mostly my grandparents, had medical problems. And she had worn off her fingerprints. And then 20 different police officers are like, what? And they're like surrounding her and they're like, what? You don't have fingerprints? What the heck? Joe, get your magnifying glass. She has fingerprints. And they eventually did manage to find one fingerprint, a partial one on our thumb. But yeah, my aunt She was like, well, we could contact the CIA. They have my fingerprints. I used to have nuclear clearance. And my dumb brain thought that meant that she saw the nukes. It did not mean that. Back to the video. Because I need to shower.
6 people who are good at covering their tracks. The CIA is very, very good at operating in total secrecy. Yeah, the CIA is looking at. They probably control more of our data. Home strings. It's pointless to point the finger at them. You can say to anybody that long as it's matter making a basis, you can say it's not a blind cat. Blind cat is a cat that has a blind cat.
That's Melon Cat, you dumbass. It's a fucking melon.
I've never heard someone refer to this cat so casually.
Also during that day of Pig's invasion, Kennedy refused to offer additional U.S. military support,
I know
despite the
Mary
CIA
kitties.
offering an
That's
umbrella
Melon
of
Cat.
air protection. The explicit use of the word umbrella unlocks one controversial wrinkle to this CIA theory. This wrinkle, which is popular in conspiracy circles, is that Lee Harvey Oswald acted with a potential CIA operative referred to as the Umbrella Man.
Whoa!
This
I love names like that.
Oh, it's not just a name, it is very practical.
The Umbrella
There's no
Man.
creative input into this name. It's all practical.
I fucking love that.
Come on, Sheriff
The
Student.
Umbrella Man.
Oh, I love it too. I can't wait to tell you.
Whoa,
I hate the
baby.
Umbrella Man.
The Umbrella Man.
Don't call me baby, but yeah. In the Zapruder film and other photos taken at the time of the shooting, you can see one lone man holding an opened umbrella above his head.
Counter
At a
conspiracy.
glance,
The guy was
this
a
may seem
vampire.
fairly innocuous, but there are two things that make it unusual. The first is that it wasn't raining, and despite it raining in Dallas the night before, nobody in the crowd, as far as pictures and media can tell, had an umbrella. The second, and more dubious occurrence, is the fact that Kennedy is struck by the first bullet at the moment his car passes in front of this Umbrella Man. Also in that moment, some believe that the Umbrella Man appears to lift his umbrella a foot or so. Both of these things in conjunction have led some to believe that the umbrella was a signal to another gunman, or that the umbrella itself was a spy-like weapon that could fire darts, perhaps explaining the slight hole in JFK's neck.
He's like Oswald
The
Cobblepot.
hole that the bullet made.
He's like James Bond, and this is a new weapon that
He's like the penguin.
Also, JFK had
Or
some
the
back,
penguin.
had some
Penguin had a gun,
surgery on his
an
back,
umbrella.
so he had some rods in his back,
I do want to ask,
which
though,
made his
the
body
term
jerk
umbrella
weirdly.
in the previous quote is what links that to. Why? So is that just an innocuous link there? Was that a segue from you, or are people like that proves that this
It's a segue, and it's somewhat proof in conspiracy circles.
Okay, well, that's a grasp.
It's the CIA
Yeah, it is
said
a
they were going to
grasp.
offer an umbrella of air protection, and Kennedy said, "Nah, you ain't."
Okay, well,
And then,
so that's very tenuous.
and then they're like, "All right, we're going to kill you with an umbrella." As outlandish as this may seem, a Department of Defense weapons developer named Charles Sensney incredibly testified to the Senate Intelligence Committee that a form of this wacky umbrella weapon exists because he designed it. Sensney described an umbrella-like weapon that could silently fire darts. One JFK book author named Jim Mars also claimed that these darts were fired through the umbrella's webbing when opened. Furthermore, there are
It would
pictures
make more
that show the
sense
umbrella
having the
closed
damn
before and after the
part.
assassination. But during the assassination, the umbrella was clearly open as Kennedy passed the Umbrella Man.
Yeah, how the fuck is gonna be an umbrella gun?
So, yeah, I don't think you have to sell me anymore on this, Ryan. I was all in once you mentioned the words Umbrella Man.
What do you think about the umbrella only being able to fire through the webbing of the
Great,
umbrella?
I'm on board.
That's pretty fucking cool, right?
Look, you could convince me of anything in the world if you just use the words Umbrella Man. If you say Amelia Earhart, her plane was attacked by an Umbrella Man and he took her to space, I'd say that sounds about right.
Also suspicious is the fact that after the shooting, while other spectators fled the scene, this Umbrella Man, along with another man, sat down next to each other on the curb, seemingly undisturbed. However, a possible explanation came from the purported Umbrella Man himself. This man was a man named Louis Stephen Witt, who came forward to the Senate committee to testify, even bringing the umbrella along with him. He claimed that the umbrella was a symbol of protest to JFK's father, Joseph Kennedy.
Oh.
Witt was not a fan of Joseph Kennedy's appeasement policies when Joseph was ambassador to the court of St. James in 1938 to 1939. So, as a symbol of protest,
Not 100%
Witt
sure
used
what
an
it means,
umbrella,
but
a
something
reference
involving
to the signature
Nazis.
accessory of Neville Chamberlain, who promoted appeasement as Prime Minister of England. Witt also explains that he only opened the umbrella when he believed Kennedy could see it. And as odd as this may seem, throughout history, many people both in England and America have used umbrellas as a symbol of protest. Even
Okay,
the
so it's
paranoid
probably
former
that.
President Nixon banned his aides from having umbrellas when he was vice president to Eisenhower for fear of having a visual link to the unpopular policy of appeasement.
I'm fed up with this guy. Also, he shows up to court and says, "No, this is the umbrella. It's not. I couldn't possibly have
Yeah, I know.
two umbrellas."
By the way, no follow-up from this testimony. None of them searching his house. Nobody saying and confirming that this is the Umbrella Man. It's just a guy saying this flimsy little excuse about some history lesson that he probably, I guess he couldn't have Googled it, but he could have went to the local history professor.
Absolutely.
Or a
I don't
library.
know. I find it very weak.
Libraries
The
are basically
supposed Umbrella
Wikipedia
Man
before
Witt
Wikipedia.
also claimed that the umbrella blocked his view of Kennedy being assassinated, thus explaining his apparent state of calm, or shock as he described it, as he sat on the curb after
Yeah,
the shooting.
Flate's an
But some have
interesting
claimed
response.
this isn't proven in the footage. Perhaps Louis Stephen Witt is in fact the Umbrella Man, and this is all a misunderstanding. Or perhaps Witt is a puppet for the
I
CIA
honestly think it's
to
a
cover his
misunderstanding.
tracks. Nobody can say definitively which is true.
Fucking umbrella man.
I just can't believe that that's his excuse. I couldn't see it. I didn't see it. I heard the gunshots. I saw everyone running, and I thought, oh, it must be part of the parade.
It was a very nice parade. I didn't see the part where the president got shot in the head.
In the end, people continued to speculate on what truly happened in Dallas that day. A 2003 ABC News poll conducted 40 years after JFK's assassinations found that approximately 70% of Americans believed there was some sort of plot behind the killings. Only 32% accepted the Warren Commission's findings, and 51% believed there was a second gunman involved. In 1973, LBJ told The Atlantic, quote, "I never believed that Oswald acted alone, although I can accept that he pulled the trigger," end quote. I just can't believe that one single douchebag could assassinate a president.
Yeah. Trendy hair.
Trendy.
It's like perfectly greasy.
Side note, what do you think Lee Harvey Oswald uses hair? Like, it's a process.
That's a gentleman's hobby right there. Well, I guess we'll never know.
Melon cat. Again, this is one of those way too popular conspiracy theories, and I'm sick and tired of hearing it. Also, these are the colors my scarves are going to be. I plan on selling scarves. See you guys in the next one.